I have a lot of favorite animated films, some popular and beloved, and some not so much. But one of my favorite animated films of the current decade has to be Pixar's Elemental, a film that did not have the strongest opening weekend in theaters, but over time as good word of mouth spread about it, it became a solid hit at the box office and is still very well liked. But in my opinion, it doesn't get the recognition it deserves. I personally think it's Pixar's best film in a long time. Toy Story 4 was good and Finding Dory was good, but none of them were peak Pixar. This felt like a return to form for Pixar and made me feel excited for Pixar again, and in my opinion is one of their best alongside Monsters Inc., Up in the Toy Story films. So today let's talk about why Elemental is a cinematic masterpiece. In a world of elements, water, earth, fire and air, two fire people move to Element City, a utopia where all elements live in peace and harmony unless they bump into each other. After struggling to find a place to live, they find an abandoned building to turn into a shop. Years later, their daughter Ember is being groomed to run the shop, but there's one problem. She has an anger problem. One day while she's hosting an important sales day, she gets overwhelmed and pops one of the pipes, which then drags in Wade, a water guy who writes a citation due to bad plumbing. Ember chases him down and convinces him to help her stop the shutdown of her family's shop. They convince the head of Wade's department that if they can find and fix the root of the problem, the citations will be dropped. While all this going on, Wade and Ember develop a blossoming relationship, and Ember starts to learn more about herself and her capabilities, and starts to question if she even wants to take over her dad's shop at all or if she wants to explore other options. However, her conflicting feelings drive a wedge between her and Wade. Besides the fact her dad is prejudiced against water people, relationships are put to the test, things fall apart and our characters have to work together to patch things up. The story seems cliché, and yeah, it is for the most part, but it throws in a few things to make it interesting. The whole immigration aspect, the creative world building, the songs and tracks, and especially the charisma of our two main characters. The story isn't really that original, but it does a solid job to give our characters satisfying, powerful development as well as give the audience a way to experience the scope of the world. The characters are all very likable and sympathetic. Ember is very relatable. How she's always trying to do the best she can to prove that she can run the shop and make her dad proud, as well as her journey throughout the film when she realizes that she doesn't want to follow her dad's dream. She wants to craft her own and find out who she is as a person, and that is an extremely well-crafted character arc. There have been times where people have wanted me to be a certain thing and do certain things, but every time I tried, I failed horribly, and that's because my heart wasn't actually in it. I was always thinking about something else and dreaming about another way of life that I wanted to do, and when I was honest with myself and stopped trying to do what others wanted me to do and started pursuing what I wanted to do, I was so much happier. Even if they didn't accept me for who I was, at least I was finally being true to myself, and I think Ember's journey is a great example of how to stop trying to be somebody you're not and start being who you are and who you want to be, and accepting yourself inside and out even if it's hard. Wade starts off kind of annoying, but he eventually becomes endearing and lovable. He is very sensitive and is prone to crying when his heart is touched. He convinces Ember to open up and to think about what she wants to do rather than just conforming to who her dad wants her to be, but he does it in a respectful way. He's also really funny, energetic, confident, and motivates those around him to keep trying. He is a really genuine guy that everybody needs in their lives. He and Ember have amazing chemistry together. Every moment between them is sweet and lovely. Their relationship blooms naturally and it never feels rushed or forced. It truly feels like a real relationship, and you really believe that they're in love, especially when they're both willing to sacrifice each other so that the other will live. The way they confess their love for each other, their first touch and dance, and when they finally kiss, it is so emotionally impactful and satisfying and makes their whole development as a couple powerful. These two are by far the best Pixar couple of all time. Woody and Bo Peep got nothing on them. As for the other characters like Bernie Lumen, he's cool if a bit pushy with his expectations of his daughter, Ember, but it always feels like it's coming from a good place, and you do sympathize with him not getting love or validation from his family when he and his wife left Fireland. He's a sweet guy. He just has trouble trusting other elements because of what he's been through, especially with water people. Cindy Lumen is very funny. She has a lot of spies, and is always trying to push Ember towards love with minimal success. At first she seems to not support Ember and Wade's romance, but after Wade surprises her by using clever tactics to light the love candle, to prove that water and fire being together is a possibility, she starts to be open to the idea, and eventually accept Ember's decision to be with Wade. She's a lovable character, All the other characters like Wade's mom, the Cloud Lady and these side characters are all very likable and endearing. There's not a single character here I don't like. This is one of those films that doesn't have a villain but focuses on the conflict of the relationship as the main driving force, like Inside Out and Finding Nemo. Just like those films, it works perfectly. The animation is amazing as always. However, this film has a unique look to it compared to the other Pixar films. While the other Pixar movies have the same kind of look, except for The Incredibles, this film really plays around with the elements and what they can do, which really makes it stand out in the pantheon of Pixar films. I see a bit of Spider-Verse inspiration. The colors are also very vibrant and the character designs are amazingly done. It really feels like these are beings made of water, fire, earth and air. Their more recent films may have slacked off when it comes to writing, but they're still masters of animation and world building, and this is a great example of that. As for the music and soundtrack of Elemental, they're exhilarating. Most of the music pieces remind me of the tracks in Finding Dory. They are just very pleasing. There is also the song Steal the Show performed by Love, which is a really enjoyable song. I was listening to it multiple times before and after watching the movie. So overall guys, Elemental is a masterpiece. It is in my top 10 favorite Pixar movies. In a time where Pixar was mostly putting out mediocre films that were serviceable but nowhere near their best, this movie came out and blew expectations out of the water. It ignited a spark of excitement in Pixar for me again, a feeling that I had not felt since Up and Toy Story 3. Not even Toy Story 4, as good as that movie was, really felt like Pixar at their best. This felt a true return to deep, impactful storytelling, amazing character growth, and a message that is very important and can resonate with everybody. Be yourself. Don't conform to what others want you to be or do. Ignite your own flame. Find your flow and do what makes you happy, 'cause that's what life is for. This is honestly the most underrated Pixar film, and in my opinion deserves to be remembered as a classic alongside the Toy Story films, Monsters Inc., Up, The Incredibles and Finding Nemo is one of Pixar's best. Just like Meet the Robinsons, you could plop it in the golden era of Pixar and it would fit right in. And as a follow-up to perhaps the worst Pixar film of all time, Lightyear, this was a huge jump in quality. I highly recommend you check it out if you haven't seen it. It is such an amazing movie and deserves far more love and recognition. It truly is not only a Pixar masterpiece, but a genuine cinematic masterpiece. I knew right when I saw the trailer for it that it was going to be great, and it deserved to be the film that had the final Up installment play before it, because it is true Pixar. Anyways guys, what do you think? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you guys later.